Right now, we're just gonna get right into it. So I have my basic stuff, guys. I got my rifle. I'm gonna Boresight it with this hog saddle, Triclops. I got my scope, and then my tripod, my shooting mat. So we're gonna walk right through it. Hope you guys enjoy it. This is just kind of how I do it. Okay, so the first step that I'm doing right now is I'm Boresighting it. I've got my bolt out, which gives me the ability to, at shorter distances like this, determine where the rifle is actually pointing. So I'm gonna show you guys right now how I'm going about it. The target's about 50 yards away, got my scope and no bolt in, and we're gonna get right into it. All right, so the rifle is squared up on the target exactly in the middle of it. So now we're gonna look down our rifle tube, and you can see that if I look dead center through it, it's a little bit to the right in that corner. So you can see that at that distance, it's not perfectly in the center of that box. So we're gonna change it right now. So you could see right there that the barrel was actually pointing differently from what the scope was pointing to. So from there, what we do, we match the scope to what the barrel is doing. Just like you would if you have a shot. If you shoot, you put the scope, when you're setting in a rifle, you match the scope to the shot. So I need to move my scope crosshairs to where the barrel is pointing, which is down to the right. So I'm gonna do that right now, and then we're gonna go back, look at it again, and maybe take a shot. I adjusted the scope. I moved it over right and a little bit low, and then we're gonna look into it, and I'll show you the difference right here. I got the crosshairs back in the center of the target. And then we drop down and check the barrel to Boresight it, and the barrel looks like it's right in the middle of the target too. So we're looking pretty good right there. Okay, so Boresighting, we've got the crosshairs and the bore lined up as best we can at this distance, and now we're gonna take a couple shots. Hopefully we'll get on paper, and then we can really make some adjustments and fine tune it, and then take it out and zero it in. I am shooting Hornady 375 Ruger 270 grain Dangerous Game Series. Target is just a little too elevated, and so I didn't have the right feel. I'd have to really lean back on this concrete. I didn't want to do that. So we're just gonna go right off it, which is basically the same thing. We're gonna go off this bench. Same idea, have normal bags, normal stuff. We're gonna try to get on paper, but it will make my life a lot easier shooting off of this bench. It's very important not to feel crowded or rushed when you're shooting, because you're just wasting ammo. And right now that's hard to come by. So I just kind of felt like I didn't want to be touching a whole lot of stuff. I wanted to be free and engage my rifle. So here we go. It hit only about 3 inches low and a couple inches left of the bullseye. So we are really in the ballpark. I'm gonna shoot another one, and then we're gonna kind of just make sure that is where it's gonna hit, and then I'm gonna make a fine-tune adjustment. Maybe we can go right to sighting it in. Okay, so those are pretty close. I will walk up to the target, show you how close they are, and then we're gonna make adjustment, shoot at 100. You know, this gun is a working gun. It is a real lightweight, heavy trigger, a gun that I'm going to be using primarily for guiding in high adrenaline situations, and that's why I kind of prefer a heavier trigger in those scenarios. So it actually has about probably a 4.5 pound trigger, and we're pretty close. So those are my first two shots. We're on paper. So they're about 1 inch apart. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make an adjustment, put them on 0, and then we're gonna stretch it out to 100 yards and hopefully get a real solid 0. Okay, so did the measurements. It was 3 inches low and 1 inch left at 50 yards. So 1 MOA at 50 yards is only a 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna go 6 MOA up. And then I'm gonna go 2 full MOA to the right. And hopefully that'll get us in the ballpark at 100 yards. I'm gonna make those adjustments now, and then we'll get right back to it. Hopefully, we'll be close. Now 100 yards is still close enough where I can see shots. I don't need to get in my scope. So we're just really gonna just make sure and take 2 really good shots here. I'm not
too worried about 3-shot groups type thing with the 375 Ruger and this system. If I pull a shot, I will shoot another one because I want to feel like there's accurate data downrange. But if I feel like I took 2 good shots, I'm going to make that adjustment from there and just go off that. So here's the first one. It takes me a second to kind of get some new target area up there. 2 inches high at bullseye. I'm gonna shoot another one. That might be touching. Those bullets might be touching. Let's go have a look. Okay, we are at the target. So, first 2 shots, I adjusted, and those 2 shots are pretty good. So, they are basically touching. Part of the reason why I like doing 2 shots groups for this scenario is that I felt really good with both of those shots. For me to shoot another one, in my opinion, in this scenario, would be wasting a bullet because I felt good with these 2. That's my first 2 shots of the day. So then I really tightened it up, and now we know where I'm hitting. I'm comfortable saying that that is my 0. So we will leave it there. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging along with me here. This is a good example of the steps you take to get ready for hunting season. Now, we all want to go out with our new rifle and we want to get it dialed in and we want to have a shooting chart out to, 1,800 yards. But reality is we don't have a ton of time and we don't want to burn out our barrels. So what I like to do is do it in segments. What I've done today is I've only taken 4 shots, but those 4 shots were very calculated at 50 and 100 yards. And so what I did was basically get my baseline data. Got it on paper at 50, got it zeroed at 100, and now next time I go shooting, now we can go and get data. Get it at 300, 400, 500 plus yards. You don't want to heat up your barrel. You don't want to keep shooting it over and over and over again, just trying to get data, which isn't realistic. 4 shots. I feel good about it. It doesn't always happen that good, that smoothly. Don't be too hard on yourself if you pull shots. If you don't feel really good, if your rifle's kind of all over the place at first, it's okay, especially with a new gun. A lot of times newer guns, new barrels take 20 to 50 shots to really be properly broken in. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch up with you next time, and hopefully I'll get a chance to shoot this a little bit longer range, see what the 375 Ruger can do at longer distances. All right, have a good one, guys. We'll talk to you later.